Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be talking about something pretty interesting going on over at Reddit. It appears that in part thanks to the Ethan Klein copyright infringement lawsuits, a lot of users and moderators on Reddit are getting very nervous. They've been messing around for a very long time, saying very unhinged things or allowing very unhinged things on this platform, and now they're starting to find out. They're seeing some other users and moderators on this website facing serious legal consequences, and they're getting nervous, okay? And they're fleeing in mass numbers, trying to clean up their act, but it seems like it might be too late. Now, Reddit is a very bizarre platform where it's been biased and had many problems for years. But over the past couple of months, maybe even year, it's gotten to another level, where on the one hand, you'll get banned in nanoseconds for asking someone how many genders there are. But on the other hand, you'll have, whether it's entire threads or entire subreddits dedicated to calls for violence, political violence, doxing, all of these things up for months, if not years, because it aligns with the political beliefs of the moderation team. And typically we saw things over the past couple months like users encouraging people to firebomb Teslas, or to dox ICE agents, or to cause political violence. Many of those threads were up as long as they could possibly be up until legal actions were either initiated or threatened. Then they started to change their tune, and that's what's been going on over the past couple of months. It's very ironic given the fact that the first rule on Reddit is against harassment, bullying, and threats of violence. And that seems to be one of the biggest drivers on the platform at the moment. It's had very bad consequences. And one of the things that's come out of this, whether it's in name or in practice, is snark pages, which are supposed to be dedicated to criticizing a content creator or a certain subject. But of course, it divulges into something way beyond simple criticism, like way too personal stuff, illegal stuff. It gets very, very messy. Here's an example of the Hassan Piker snark page, where you can see this clear jab at Hassan Piker and his orbiters, mocking them, showing them as Power Rangers saying "Free Palestine." Wait a second. I'm being told this is not a snark page. This is the official Hassan Piker subreddit. This is made unironically. They believe these people are Power Rangers or like Power Rangers. I mean, yeah, that's true, I guess, if they didn't actually like fight and did everything from a very, 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 very safe distance in the comfort of their homes. But here's an example of a real snark page that's had real life consequences, and that's the H3 snark page. We've talked a lot about this. This thread, or this subreddit, has been inactive for several months, ever since some big legal concerns started popping up. You can see the sort of attitude here. The community highlight is saying concerns for Ethan Klein's mental state. Yeah, they're very concerned about Ethan Klein's mental state while actively trying to destroy it. This subreddit, before it's gone on its hiatus over the past couple of months, had so much disgusting, deplorable behavior, not just harassing Ethan, but also his family, including his young children. There was doxing threats, there was calls to violence, there was anti-Semitism, and all of this was basically allowed to run rampant, because that was the point, right? The most unhinged people who hate H3 would congregate here, and that's all it was about. Until, of course, it went way too far. People didn't just look at public actions or content made by Ethan Klein. They started to dive into his personal life, which they have no idea about. And then, based on their own insane delusions, started making assumptions about his life and his family, to the point where they felt emboldened enough. Many people believe the H3 Snark subreddit was the biggest driver of this, that people ended up calling malicious calls to CPS, which ended up actually happening and leading to a call on Ethan Klein and his children. But don't worry, people like Denim say it's not a big deal to be visited by CPS because his kids were 3 and 5 and they probably wouldn't remember it anyways. Yes, the very empathetic people. But there's been a very interesting consequence. Not only have they been scared for months on this subreddit due to threats of legal action, we know the ongoing copyright infringement lawsuits Ethan Klein has filed against Frogan, Denims, and Caseytron, but part of that involves the H3 Snark subreddit and some related Discord servers, and part of his discovery process is digging into these people. Yes, he's filing these lawsuits right now against those 3 individuals, but part of the process of going through everything involves these moderators and these subreddits and these Discord servers. And this is something we talked about in yesterday's video. If you want a bigger breakdown, you can check it out there. But basically, long story short, Denims and her attorneys, they agreed with Ethan's lawyers that this discovery phase, trying to unmask these related moderators, was something that was warranted and should be expedited, meaning both sides agreed this should happen and it should happen as soon as possible. Denims is basically saying through her lawyer, go after them. Focus a little less on me. Go after these moderators on the H3 Snark subreddit and also these Discord moderators and all that stuff. That's how deep this stuff is going. And I think this sort of setup here, people getting investigated and eventually their personal information and their communications are going to be revealed to Ethan, who's inclined to sue them. This is having a trickle-down effect across Reddit, who's finally finding out. Okay, here is the YouTube drama subreddit, where you can see the title of this post saying the official end of the snark era. So basically they're saying this is the end of doing snark-related posts in their pretty large subreddit. Now, my exposure to the YouTube drama subreddit is minimal because I don't use Reddit, but sometimes people will send something to me if it includes my content on subreddits like this or other related YouTube subreddits. And I gotta tell you, just like anything else or any other content creator featured on these subreddits, most of the time, when it's just kind of people they don't like, that's the only reason the content or the content creator is going to be featured, right? It's only to harass them and largely slander them. It's just like, oh, here's a lightning rod for me to talk about this person in a slanderous, awful way and to say totally out of bounds things. That's pretty much what you expect. And now I think it's safe to say, after watching what's happening with the H3 Snark subreddit and everything else, subreddits like this are getting nervous because they don't want to be dragged in either. And they're seeing the writing on the walls and they're saying stuff like this. So as of today, we are banning snark/snark related posts. This may sound arbitrary, but I think people are well aware of what constitutes valid, fair criticism and what constitutes snark. I don't think so. I don't think most people know, but it's pretty convoluted. But anyways, once upon a time, through past leadership, the sub most definitely behaved as a snark sub. We as a mod team do actually despise snark and work to have this sub be a space of discussing drama with proper criticism and outcomes. We have taken firmer stances to pull away from our past image and be a place where people can have proper discourse. And down here they mention, we have seen the harm snark has done as well. Save a Fox being a prime example. Our most popular post right now is pure snark, and it superseded actual important events because who was following who on Instagram? If you don't know the Save a Fox situation, there was a content creator named Save a Fox who saved foxes. That was what she did. And there was an actual snark subreddit dedicated to her, filled with absolute maniacs. And this is someone who was not expecting drama and slander and harassment for saving foxes and taking care of them. And she was bullied to an outrageous degree. And people said, who knew her personally, that she took these things to hearts. When people were saying outrageous things about her, it really hurt her to the point where she ended up taking her own life. And then all of the people from the Snark subreddit based on her, they got out of Dodge. They all left. They all tried to deactivate, leave. But that's how far these things go. Where completely normal, innocent people are getting harassed to the point like that, where tragedy happens. And I'm glad now, months later, they're starting to recognize that this is insane behavior. Now, Reddit as a whole doesn't care about any of this. That's pretty obvious, but the responses to this are pretty much the same. Most people saying, I don't know what a snark sub is. I don't know what snark means. Which, yeah, good luck, because unfortunately, snark, which was supposed to be just like alongside criticism, has been diluted and mixed together so much with really abhorrent behavior that it's hard to tell, at least in terms of vocabulary here, what is what. And I guess that's Reddit's fault. But anyways, Ethan Klein, would make this post on Instagram saying the mods of YouTube drama are compromised. Now, I don't know the full details of what he's trying to imply here, but it seemed to get people on the subreddit pretty nervous. Now, another person would weigh in on this issue, and that would be Asmongold. So what would he say? Well, in response to someone sharing the subreddit post, Asmongold would say, the only reason why this is happening is because Ethan is suing/doxing the H3 snark mods, and the people who made this post are afraid of the same thing happening to them. Subreddits and communities like this love to talk about accountability until it happens to them. Yes, this sort of behavior was running rampant for years, and they just never cared. It was very biased enforcement of the TOS and moderation, and now, when they're seeing this insane behavior that's taken place for the last couple of years start to blow up and have actual consequences, all these subreddits are getting very nervous. And I think what Asmongold is saying here is right on the money. That's exactly what's going on here. This would not have happened if Ethan Klein's lawsuit was not unmasking or threatening to unmask some of these related subreddit moderators through discovery. But of course, people would be asking, who is the Goblin Man? You'll see the actual post saying Goblin Man. And this person says, shh. Then someone removed this comment, and then you see this mod team post saying, the topic of your post is currently restricted. Ah, that's right. The Voldemort status. Can't even talk about Asmongold on here. So, you know, you got a lot of heats for the guy calling him the Goblin Man. But when people reveal who that actually is, they get their comment removed. Now, of course, what they're actually referring to is down here. This was an edit added on saying apparently some YouTubers have weighed in. Nah, this has nothing to do with the usual suspects. Right. This is purely to stop toxic behavior and negativity. If you think otherwise, I urge you to get out of your computer chair, touch grass, instead of making Nurgle proud. Projection. Edit 2. And no Goblin Man, referring to Asmongold, of course. No fans of yours are around. People can agree that toxic communities are toxic, yours being one of them. Yup, that didn't last too long with the toxicity, right? Immediately bouncing back, and I am sure there are plenty of Asmongold fans in your subreddit as well. Like, given the size of the man, like, there's no way there aren't some. That's just kind of a weird thing to say. But yeah, you can see the passive-aggressive nature here. They're just trying to act morally superior while also trying to admit that they're doing things wrong and they want to be better, but they're also saying I'm still better than people like Asmongold and his community. Many such cases. But then I saw this one too. LMAO, Hassan fans aren't going to like this. Where this person said, I mean, they have been pretty chill and respectful of the rules here for a very long time. Right. Yeah, we all believe that, dude. But anyways, there's been a very funny kind of collateral damage that's happened because of the Ethan Klein lawsuits. It's had a sort of trickle-down effect to these subreddits that are now nervous. The same thing that's happening to the H3 Snark moderators is going to happen to them. And honestly, well, yeah, maybe you should be nervous when you not only condone or engage with yourself in abhorrent and, in many cases, illegal behavior. Don't be surprised when you start to find out eventually. And that's exactly what's going on here. And yeah, I will not shed a tear, not a single one, for anyone who's scared of what's to possibly happen with Ethan Klein. If you're worried about Ethan Klein in this context, you probably deserve whatever's coming because you clearly are doing something that's quite egregious. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.